Hey guys, Daz here from Total Reformation Health and Wellbeing. Now today we're going to continue on from the previous video I put up, which was all about gut dysfunction. But today we're going to talk about how that dysfunction affects the biomechanics of your whole body. Now it's amazing how many people come to me with injuries, and they may just be niggling injuries they've had pretty much most of their life, or just in their later part of their life. And they've never really known where it's come from, and they've gone to chiros and physios and they've spent hundreds of dollars on it, but never have healed and never have gotten better. And so they've got this vicious circle going where every couple of months they've had to go back and see those people and spend more money. And that's because they're not addressing the underlying cause. Now that's pretty much what I'm all about. Addressing, searching, finding the underlying cause that is presenting itself. And so basically what that means, what all this means, where does this come from? As I said in the last video, that inflammation within the tummy is very bad. In fact, inflammation within the body is actually a very bad thing. So most of your life you've probably had this inflammation, you probably haven't really known about it, you've been continuing with training and running and all sorts of stuff, and as the years have gone by, symptoms are starting to come up. Sore knees, sore ankles, sore hip and sore back. And where has it come from? And so let's take running for example. What happens is that whole inflammation that's presenting itself within the whole GI tract has caused your abdominal wall to deactivate. Now we need that abdominal wall and core to stabilize as we walk, run and do every form of activity we can think of. So when we start running, we lose that ability to control that pelvis. It starts to move by forward, backwards, at all different angles. And that's where we start to get some really big problems. What happens is the hip flexors become the stronger muscle because the brain can no longer connect with this abdominal wall, in particular the lower abdominals. So those hip flexors become strong and short, causing that pelvis to rock forward. Now when that pelvis rocks forward, if you think about it, the back also will be swaying forward, big arch in your back I should say, causing strain through the back because you've got this massive pulling going on from these hip flexors. Also too, when that pelvis rocks forward, your whole body weight, center of gravity shifts forward also. So what that means is that the knees and ankles also have to compensate for this lean. So the knees start to become knock-kneed. And your ankles roll inwards as well. So you imagine these shear forces going through your ankles and knees that are no longer straight, causing pain and all this disalignment throughout the body. And so what we need to understand, well, okay, we've got inflammation, I've lost the ability to stabilize, I need to really dig deep and find, well, what's caused this inflammation? What has caused this deactivation? And first thing you can do is start with your environment, where you live, where you sleep, your work environment. What are you exposed to? Chemicals, toxins, products that you're putting on your skin, deodorants, makeup, all that sort of stuff will sink in to the body. The liver gets a big hit, but also it's a really big challenge for your intestines as well. It adds to that inflammation. Another thing we can do is look at the food we're eating. Are there food that you're consuming that you are having a reaction to? You either have an allergic reaction to, or you just got sensitivities to. Now that's easily done. That's a test that I have is just a very simple blood prick, which looks at 93 different foods that we generally eat on a day-to-day basis to see, well, what is causing this inflammation within the tummy. And obviously there's a whole lot of other things that we can go into, but that's a great place to start, is checking your environment, checking your food. Now this also might mean that you may need to stop running for a while. We need to start to look inwards. It may mean that we have to sit down and stretch, finding areas that have become really tight. The hip flexors, look through that, and this is where it helps to actually go find someone, a practitioner that really knows what they're looking for. Also too, once we do start to get that under control, we need to learn how to re-establish the connection between the brain and lower abdominals so that those hip flexors don't become super strong and the preferred muscle that the brain goes to. So we need to get back into the basic movement of pelvic movement, how to contract those lower abdominals, hold them contracted while we're moving our legs. So these are all things that we can do to help you get back into the swing of things. So a simple blood test and also the 304 that I spoke about in the previous video are amazing, and they're going to help you so that when you heal, you've addressed the underlying cause. When you get back into the swing of things, you're doing it right, and you're not going to have to come back and spend hundreds of dollars to go through the process again. So that's pretty much what today is all about. Hopefully it wasn't too confusing, but if you are serious about running, if you're serious about getting back into your training, make sure you check the functioning of your gut. Make sure your digestion is good. If not, you are going to have problems. You're going to have injuries down the track. And most of you are probably sitting there going, actually, yeah, now that I think about it, I don't have a very good digestion. And yeah, every time I run, I pull up really sore. My back is sore, my legs and knees, all this is very, very sore. So let's get it checked out. Make sure you contact me through Facebook or via email, or give me a call, and we can catch up and we can explain how we can go about fixing this in a natural protocol. No drugs, no nothing, all natural. Thank you for your time, and I'll speak to you guys soon.